Good evening, everyone. Hearty welcome to Conference 0.5 on legal issues and incorporation of startups. Vishnu Kumar, the founder and CEO of the Associates and Group, an ex-analyst at Citigroup and JP Morgan, the leading Wall Street banks. And
I think so. There are some network issues. Let's wait for some minutes, some couple of minutes till then the Shravan, our host, Mr. Shravan Kumar, will join.
yeah, I got the question.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Mentioned the founder and CEO of Associates and Group, an ex-analyst at Citigroup and JP Morgan, the leading Wall Street banks of NYSE, New York Street Exchange, and the Karnataka High. I'm your host on 0.5 on emerging legal issues in incorporation of startups. SK Associates and Group is an ISO certified management consulting firm registered under MSMED Act 2006 with the Government of India. We work towards providing management consulting services in the domain of strategy and operations, compliance, human capital consulting strategy to budding student entrepreneurs have been formed with a dream to provide consulting services to budding student entrepreneurs and help them in developing the national economy by establishing their dream firms across various industries. We basically work with startups and train potential student entrepreneurs who are aiming to bring a significant change either in their business model, in scale of operations, or growth. To succeed in this endeavor, our clients need a specific type of consultant, someone who is a problem solver. Typically, such a person is entrepreneurial and passionate, thinks out of the box, has an idea where the problem lies, how to analyze it, and most importantly, what would serve as a perfect solution for it. Such people have lived and they have worked in different continents and countries over time. They have worked on exciting projects. They have taken risks and they have the scars to show for it. We call such people as transformational consultants. We have worked over the last 3 years to build a network of such people, reaching out to them across universities, across industries, and across the gamut of functional roles. Time and again, we have seen magic happen when we find the perfect solutions for our clients. And this is what actually drives us and keeps us motivated each day. We are passionate and excited about the impact such individuals can have in building the next generation of iconic organizations in the corporate sector. Now, I would like to request Ms. P. Varsha Kumari to share the screen and present a video trailer for all our audience.
Here's to those going after their dreams, the dream chasers, the entrepreneurs, the self made, those who sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. Here's to the creators, not the fakers, but the makers. Here's to the workers, not the talkers, but the walkers. Because it ain't easy going after your dreams. It's not easy going against the grain. It's not easy fighting through challenges. It's not always easy working on yourself, but it is always worth it. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a label that is earned, not given. An entrepreneur is someone that creates things that didn't exist before, someone that sacrifices a lot now for a better tomorrow, someone who believes in their dream even when no one else does, someone who doesn't settle, someone who isn't like the majority, someone who goes against the grain, someone who pushes through the pain of defeat, the pain of failure, the pain of rejection. An entrepreneur is never focused on the fame. The focus is always on providing something of immense value to the world. When you add value, you always get rewarded. An entrepreneur is not like everyone else. In fact, being like everyone else would be the ultimate failure. A lion, not a sheep. A leader, not a follower. An entrepreneur is someone that makes no excuses. Their focus is always on the end goal. And if that means smashing through 1,000 obstacles along the way, if it means taking the rocky road uphill, if it means starting over and over again, that is what will be done. It's the whatever it takes mentality. I will not stop. I will not give in. I believe in my dream. My dream will be realized. Don't just dream. Plan. Don't just plan. Work. Don't just work. Outwork everyone. Dominate. I am an entrepreneur. I lead, I don't follow. I create, I don't procrastinate. I don't talk, I work.
Yeah, Varsha. That's it. Thanks. You could just push back to the post. Yeah. Our mission, as you have seen, is to mentor 3 lakh students across India by 2026 by providing them with consulting services in strategy and operations, human capital, finance, legal advisory, research and development, taxation, marketing, and help them in establishing their ventures by investing more than 20 crores INR in their startups over the next 5 years till 2020 July. We also aim to provide 50,000 employment opportunities to various lecturers across the nation by providing them with multiple volunteering opportunities which they can do alongside their regular employment. We strongly believe in our vision that strategic alliance and collaborations can help us achieve our vision in working for the cause of global economic growth. Our executive management and operations team are always dedicated on working towards management goals, entrepreneurship, development, and community impact goals with a concentration on the point. Students are the upcoming future generations of our nation and need to impact global economic. Now, I would like to introduce all our honorable guests for today's session, post which Advocate Rudy Bhanushali, my co-host, will take over for the conference. Firstly, I would like to introduce Dr. Samuel Samai Andrews, who is an intellectual property expert with extensive experience and a doctorate in laws, doctorate in judicial sciences, SGD in intellectual property law, LLM in intellectual property law and policy, LLM in international law and jurisprudence and legal theories, LLB honors in law and barrister at law. Currently working as a faculty member at Prince Mohammad bin Fahd University in Saudi Arabia, Dr. Andrews has previously worked at Albany State University, Georgia, and has been awarded as USA Ambassador, Distinguished Scholar, University of Gondar in Ethiopia. The former managing partner and CEO of Gil First Fruit Chambers is an experienced entrepreneur with keen interest and passion in corporate law. We also have Honorable Advocate Shishir Kumar Saxena, one of the most prominent criminal lawyers at the Supreme Court of India, practicing since 1977 with the Supreme Court Bar Association located in Delhi. With an experience of more than 4.5 decades in criminal law matters, Mr. Saxena has handled some of the most notorious legal petitions in Indian history, including triple murders, corporate white-collar criminal cases, attempt to murder cases, coercion, garnishee orders, tax fraud, financial corporate scams, workplace harassment cases, and many more. He has also previously represented many corporate firms like Maruti Suzuki, Sinfo Builder Private Limited, etc., in corporate litigations between the years 2007 to 2012. Being an ardent believer in God and the power of the Almighty to suppress evil, Mr. Saxena is a staunch supporter of the belief good triumphs over evil. Next, we have Dr. Advocate Rahul Garje, a PhD scholar from Sterling Global University, who is currently practicing at the Supreme Court of India since 1992. With 24 plus years of experience in corporate and criminal law matters, he is a very enthusiastic individual with a keen interest and passion towards corporate law matters. Dr. Garje has previously worked as a faculty member and research guide at OPJS University Rajasthan and Himalayan University Arunachal Pradesh. Being a partner in 10 plus law firms in Delhi, he is quite experienced in entrepreneurship with an amazing entrepreneurial mindset and expertise in startup advice. Next, we have Advocate Dheeraj Singh, who is one of the most influential and young corporate lawyers at the Supreme Court of India, practicing since 2020 with the Supreme Court Bar Association, Delhi. 2010. Being an apprentice of Advocate Ram Jethmalani, former Minister of Law, Chairman of BCI, and President of Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. Singh has gained a lot of expertise in legal matters by working with his group since the time he was pursuing his LLB from University of Delhi or DU. Born and brought up in Hazaribagh, a city in Jharkhand, he is a man who rose from ashes, be it a struggle to get admission in top public university in the country or learn from his guru during his apprenticeship. Mr. Singh has handled various high-profile corporate law matters in the short period of his 12 years of practice and loves mentoring young law graduates. Now, I would like to welcome Advocate Riddhi Bhanushali of Mumbai High Court to take over the conference. Thank you.
A hearty welcome to all the guests and the students who are gladly waiting to hear them out. I'm Advocate Riddhi Bhanushali. I'm a practicing attorney of law at the Mumbai High Court and author of Motivation Masters, an anthology compiled by me and my team of co-authors to inspire various individuals towards achieving their dreams in life with passion and determination. Now, I would like to thank all the guests and the audience for patiently waiting for the commencement of the event. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. Samuel Samai Andrews from Prince Mohammad bin Fahd University to begin his speech.
Oh, yes. Actually, Ms. Samai Andrews is having some network issues. He'll be joining us in a short time. Until then, I would like to request Ms. Vaishali Shri. Yeah. So our opening call start for the day with the first question at which of these corporate conglomerates? Good. So I would like to request all the audience to provide their opinions on the very same issue. So I want to again request the audience to provide their opinion. You can simply type your opinion in the form of a letter. The option whichever you feel is appropriate. Perfect. That's what. Yarati, what's your opinion on the question?
Okay. 1 minute. I'll see.
Yeah. When we come to 2019, don't you think it's started limit?
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah. Perfect. Anyway, now I'd like to invite Advocate Shishir Kumar Saxena from the Supreme Court of India to take over with his speech. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, no issues. Mr. Andrews has joined us. Yeah. Now I would like to invite Dr. Samay Andrews from Professor Mohammad bin Fahd Universities to come and take over his speech.
So sorry, everybody.
Hello, sir.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Dr. Samuel, please
Yes,
start
please.
please start your speech. I'm waiting.
Am I the one to go on?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Can I send my slide? Can it be posted for me? Because I'm sorry for my tidiness.
No, you're looking.
I can't see my slide. I sent it out to be. Can someone upload it for me? Okay. All right.
Hello, Tishir. Hello, Dr. Samuel. How are you?
I'm good. Okay. So,
Let's start.
apologies, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm in Saudi Arabia, Eastern Province, and I got the time zone. I thought it was 2 hours 30 minutes ahead. Anyway, let's go straight to business of the day. I'm Samuel Andrews, and like I am a professor of intellectual property law. Sorry, they type in international law, intellectual property law. So now, based on the theme of our presentation here, I know we are dealing with emerging legal issues in startup, but being an IP guy, scholar, and teacher, I decided to narrow down on the issues that, in my opinion, is actually one of the major issues in enterprises and entrepreneurship. Now, we will realize that before now we never put much value on the build-up, on the ideas that we create or that we form in our mind and trying to bring it into the business space. So it's a startup. Yes, every company, Google, ExxonMobil, Facebook, WhatsApp, started as a startup. So what should you, as could you move to the next slide? Keep on moving. Yeah. So leave it there, please. So it's become very significant. IP issues for companies has become very, very significant. And a lot of people don't think about this area when they are starting a company. It could be a small business. Of course, mostly startups are always in the small business enterprises zone. That's SME. Because I've not heard of any company in the world, even the ExxonMobils, the Alibabas, the Google, the Facebook, and Amazon, that started big. You got to start small, form an idea in your mind, call people, discuss it with people, execute. Luckily, it explodes like Amazon or Microsoft or Google or Facebook or WhatsApp and the rest. So you can see in this slide, something just occurred to me. I got this slide from my friend, Professor Mark Lemley, recently. You see, video game is a derivative. Video game was not even the primary industry. So video game is a derivative of the movie industry. But somebody sat down somewhere and figured out how it could take this sector and explode. Now, from the valuation of the video industry, we realize that video industries actually, in terms of value, money, and capacity or impact, has even overshot the primary audiovisual industry, which is film industry. So what does that tell me? That tells me that when you do the right thing, when you protect your intellectual property, as you are thinking about starting a business, starting a project, starting a partnership, you might hit it big if you do the right thing from the beginning. So, next, what are these things we have to think about? Now, I'm more concerned right now with these 6 areas of intellectual property because these are the areas. There are other areas that will affect your business, but these are the core areas that you should be looking at. These are the areas any person who decides to set up a venture, a business, a legal entity that is not a human being that wants to use that entity either to make money, to impact the society, to provide medicine services. You should think about these 6 areas of intellectual property: trademarks, trade secrets. Now, when I talk about trade secrets, I want you to think about your business plan. I'll come back to that. When I think about copyright, I also want you to think about digital copyright. Now, design, the construct of either your website or if it is a widget, something you want to produce, you think about how you can use the advantages of the laws that we have in India, in Nigeria, in Saudi Arabia. India is a member of WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization, and India also is a signatory to major IP treaties. So India is far ahead of the game in the areas of creativity. I always joke that the 3 major film industries in the world is um, Hollywood, Nollywood, Nigeria, then Bollywood. And people tell me, no, 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 no. Yeah, all this debate that some other day. But see, India has used the present structures that they have to increase their creative corporate entities. So, how did they do that? They did that because they really took advantage of the laws of IP. So, coming back to I said patent, I said design, patent is very, very important now. Patent is the number one liquid, the number one source right now, even though it's for 20 years, but it is the number one power source and also political engine in IP that a lot of countries are using. For instance, COVID 19, you, because the holders of patent in all these drugs have refused or want a little bit of more money, which is the reality of life we live in. IP is about money, number one. That's me talking, and a lot of people have agreed with me. Yeah, there are social services and humanitarian, but IP is about money. Just like a startup. You are setting a startup to make money. Don't delude yourself.
Like patents, the way you told that patents right now, the medical industry due to COVID-19 issues, a lot of medical industry, medical people have refused for the COVID-19 vaccine and all the things. So, what are your views on that? That should they do for money or it should be on a humanitarian grounds?
Honestly, it's a very sensitive area, and as a lawyer, I don't always have an answer. I always,
Okay.
I always tell you the both sides of it.
Yeah,
As an
yeah.
IP lawyer and an historian, I can only tell you a little bit of history to guide us where we are today.
Yes, sir.
During,
So
during the
yes.
HIV crisis, we
Okay.
had the same problem. just some meters away from me here, Doha, they tried to have an understanding, the developed countries and the developing, especially the developing countries of the South. South Africa was in the forefront, and India too. To even not, right now, India also is in the forefront of the owners of this patent. You see, those companies were startup, like I said, they were small. But let me be honest with you, how I feel. Nothing is free in this world. A lot of people disagree with me on that. We
True.
might argue till tomorrow. But
Yes.
the reality, I live in the real world. I've been a lawyer for 30 something years and I practice everywhere.
True.
Now, the only way we can solve this problem is for both sides to come together and give and take. I will not subscribe to any of my clients who own this patent to give it free
True.
because people's blood and sweat have been put into these inventions and you have to reward them. Yes, on the other side too, they don't have to be greedy.
True.
They don't have to be greedy. They have to come down and realize that life is involved. But the extreme ends are the problem of humanity. Everybody's on the extreme. If we come to the middle, we'll solve this problem. Just, because in the first place, even if they give you free, you don't have the capacity
Yeah.
to produce it. You
True.
you still need them to come in. So that we don't derail too much. I have 15 minutes. We can do another seminar on that.
Sure, sir.
The thing is we gotta come together and solve it because the truth, most of the countries who are asking for free, if they are not corrupt politically, if they use their resources well for their people, they will not have a problem. Dash 5 minutes, please. Just no, 1 minute, 1 minute. So, so that's where we are. So sorry about that. So you see, the whole issue about that is most of these countries who are clamoring now for free, we want free. We know. I don't want to be political here. We know that if they are taking care of their people, if they are doing what was right, their people will not be where they are right now. Will not have this problem we are having. At least the countries would have a fighting chance. Even when they give you this, when you have the compulsory license, you will have the capacity. There is no
True.
country. I did a research on that recently. There's no country right now in Africa that can
Okay.
produce a vaccine. So that's the problem we are. India can do it maybe, but there's none in Africa alone that can do it. So we look at patents. That was where we derailed to COVID. We look at data and metrics. If you are starting a company, your numbers, what you have, the size of your market is now money. Especially, next slide, please. Especially when you look at the digital copyright aspect of it. Most of the business now, remember, startups, you are going to operate on the cyberspace. That is where we are going now. Brick and mortar buildings is going to phase out soon. So that is what you should be thinking. How do I protect my design, the color of my logo, trademark, my numbers, my projection, my business, who are going to be my customers? Those things, you can protect them by trademarks. You can also protect them by trade secret, like your business plan. like your ideas. And be careful. Be careful. When you have these ideas, please be selfish. Don't talk to mama. Don't talk to papa. Don't talk to friends. I'm serious.
True. That's true.
Dad, I love you, daddy. I love you, mommy. But don't talk to them. Before you talk to mom, because at times you need mom and dad to give the money to start. But before you talk to mom and dad, let me tell you why. Dad is going to give you the money, but dad is going to talk to his big bankers. And innocently, dad is going to spill the beans to that banker. And that banker is more connected than dad in the world, business world. So he's going to call his friend in Japan. Shh. He will give your dad the money, but before you execute, the Japanese guy has registered your business and has started it. That didn't do it to ruin you. It just that's how the world operates. So you ask me, so what do I do? Before you start to tell that, get a lawyer. I'm sorry, lawyers have to eat too. They have to be part of your startup. Yes, lawyers. I'm not talking of businessmen. I'm not talking of financier. I'm talking of lawyer, not just a lawyer who wins cases in India Supreme Court. No. I'm talking of an IP lawyer, an expert in this area. IP is not a common area, it's a specialized area. I don't play in criminal law anymore because that's not my focus. But this is what I focus on. So you look for someone who knows that area. Because what they're going to do, they're going to draft an NDA, non-disclosure agreement with you. You're gonna, so when dad is talking to the banker, before dad start talking, he will tell the banker, I'm sorry, this is not my deal, this is my son. And their lawyer say, before we talk, read this and sign. If it's a serious banker, he knows what it means. He will sign it. So tomorrow, if he does reveal your secret, trade secret, or steals your copyright, or the color of your, most of you should know that colors now can be trademarked, just like sound. So if you now wake up one morning and see a very nice website with same color, with same design, what you need to do is to call your lawyer. Then your lawyer will call another lawyer in that place. And they will start the legal fight. And at the end of the day, you will win. So, next slide, please. So, I've already concluded my talk, and because I expect questions. So, pay attention to regulations because they keep changing because of the current internet systems, digital systems. Pay attention to your own space, your website. Oh, I forgot to tell you, you need a website. You can't do business, you can't have a startup in 2022. If you don't have a startup, forget it. Colleagues, forget it. It's not going to work. You need a website because that's our market now. And finally, I will say, you got to innovate, you got to create, and you got to expand and upscale because a stagnant water never creates fish. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry for my tardiness, but I'm here to answer questions. Thanks.
So can students ask you questions on certain topics?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. If there are any questions from your side, students, you can surely ask Dr. Samuel, Samai, and Race.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So basically, these are the extraordinary times when the various vaccine producing companies are saying that they have put their research and development. But sir, in my opinion, I believe that the research and development is on the basis of the public expenditure. So it is not the company who is taking out their money on research and development. It is the money of the citizens as a whole who are contributing for the R&D of a company. So isn't it their responsibility to uh, like contribute to the society at the base level in these times?
Okay, I think I would concede a little bit to this line of argument. Of course, it's very unfair if you take public funds and you don't want to share. It's that is one part of the argument or the one part of the case. And I will also say it will be malpractice on the part of government or whoever is fronting for government to give money to an inventor without demanding something. So I agree with you on that. But this is where we have a problem. Most of these disputes, if you look at it very well, the money government brings is minute. Okay? And at times, there are no money of government there. Of course, government provides the infrastructure. Government has made it possible for you to have a road to drive to that place and all that and all that. Okay, you know. And the company can also say that we pay tax. We are paying tax heavily for that. So I come back to the core of my thesis. What is it we want? What is it we want? Do we want free or do we really want availability of the product? What about having it in very, very discounted price that governments, it's not private people are going to buy it. Remember, these things are done on behalf of the people by the government. So how about bringing the price at least to your cost price and giving it to these developing countries? Because we all know the scale is much. You are going to give India, Nigeria, the whole of the South. Okay?
True.
So, yes, I agree with you on one point of it, but the other flip side of it, there's still a problem. Okay? Somebody's asking a question somewhere. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, any questions from anyone else?
So I have a question here. Let me read it out from Aurora. It says, I had a question when we talk about monitoring our digital space and market. How can we do so as the digital space is so vast? Like, how can we monitor and control whether or not somebody else is online space is stealing my content? I agree to you, Aurora. You're very correct. That's the problem we face even as IP lawyers. That's the conundrum. Okay? That's the conundrum. But you see, I'll just give you a quick answer. The only way you're going to do it is technology and lawyers and good lawyers. So, recently, if you noticed, Netflix, you can't watch Netflix in certain places. There's a program that was created, they call it geolock. So they can restrict you in accessing your website based on your location. But of course, we have VPN. And VPN has been a subject of copyright litigation all over the place right now. Somehow VPN could be categorized as infringing TPMs. You know what TPM is? Technical protection measures, or maybe VPN could be regarded. I've not read any decision yet on that or on the VPN cases we have. So until we have cases in court to tell us VPN and the rest of softwares programs that are infringing or bypassing people's protection, we'll keep waiting. But the only way you can monitor these things is adopt technology. You have to build a website. You have to get programmers. That's their area. There are softwares right now. You know, somebody's trying to hack you. Why? What do you think bankers do? Somebody is phishing on my account. The bankers will block my card. The same thing. Even yesterday, Facebook gave me a notice that somebody logged on. I am in Eastern Zone, Eastern Province. I'm in Daman area. They told me that somebody has logged into my Facebook account in Riyadh. They told me the computer. They told me the IP. They told me I don't use that kind of computer. That's technology. You see, so that's monitoring. But for a startup, it could be a little bit difficult for you to have such level of sophistication. But at least there is something for you because you are trying to you are trying to survive. It won't be nice for you before you come out of water. Somebody brings you down. So that's part of it. That's why I'm giving this lecture to open your mind and see. All right. What do we need to specialize in IP law? May you please recommend for us courses to take or schools to go? Okay, that's another question, Rara. I will send my official email. We might not be able to answer most of the questions here, I'm sure, but I'm sure the organizers can send my emails to you, and you can send me more questions. I'll be willing to answer. But telling you about, I can't recommend schools to you. I can only recommend my school. I can only recommend my school.
Yeah, sir. We'll drop your email ID. Like you can also put it in the chat box, your email ID, and the one who
Okay,
has.
okay. Let me do that.
Yeah.
Let me do that right now. So I, there are a lot of good schools in India, in America, in Nigeria, in Saudi here. My current school, we have a very good IP program. My school there you see on my flyer, PowerPoint. But it all depends about money, what you want to do. If you want to specialize in IP, you have to take the basic IP classes, which is patent, copyright, trademark. Okay? You have to go to a school because those are the three core IP subjects. There are a lot of them. We have about 10. Now we're expanding publicity rights, celebrity rights, brand is part of IP, geographical indications. But at least you should go to a school that they will teach you patent, they will teach you trademark, they will teach you copyright and digital copyright. So, and mostly it's done by law schools because law schools are set up to do that. Now, once you do that, you will decide on your own which area you want to specialize in. Whether you want to specialize in copyright or patent, you will know because you have to know them first to decide. Okay.
Okay, as we have less of time with us, so what we can do, those who want to ask questions or something, we can ask, as Samuel sir has given his email ID, you can kindly ask him all the questions on his email ID. So because we have a less of time, and there is a lot to say from all the speakers, so thank you so much, Samuel Andrews, sir. And I would like to thank you, Dr. Andrews, for your wonderful speech and presentation. Now, I would like to invite Advocate Sishir Kumar Saxena from the Supreme Court of India to enlighten us with his knowledge.
Hello everyone. Good evening, my friends. The subject is today a conference, emerging legal issue in Incorporation. of startups. So in India, legal challenge faced by a startup in India, business structures, legal documents, agreements, intellectual property, and agreements, annual mandatory compliance for startup in India, annual compliance checklist of startup India, corporate governance of startups. When launching a new startup, you can face significant business and legal challenge. We have seen plenty of mistakes made by entrepreneurs and startup companies. The following are some of the more common and legal mistakes made by small and growing companies in India. These mistakes are made at the initial formation of the business, in the earlier stage of the growth, and when dealing with employees. Mistake number one, not making the deal clear with co-founder. If you start your company with co-founder, you should agree early on about the detail of your business relationship. Not doing so can cause significant legal problem down the road. A good example.
Sir, your screen is not being shared. Your PPT is not being shared.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hello. Sir, your screen PPT is not being shared. It is not visible to us.
I'm not visible.
No, 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 sir. Your PPT is not visible.
Your PPT. No, no, no. I am not PPT.
Okay, sir. You
No.
you are only speaking. Okay, sir.
Oh, I am only speaking.
Okay.
There is no PPT.
Okay. Thank you.
Not making the deal clear with co-founder. Mistake number one. Think the founder agreement of for hierarchy to address how will the equity be split among the founders in each founder percentage ownership in the company subject to vesting based on continued participation in the business. What are the role and responsibility of the founder? If one founder leave, does the company or the remaining founder have the right to buy back the departing founder share? If so, at what price? What time committed to business is expected of each founder? What constraint will be imposed on outside commitments? What salary, if any, are the founder entitled to? How can they be changed? Under the circumstances, can be founder be removed an employee of the business? Usually, this would be a board of director decision. What assets or cash does each founder contribute or invest into the business? How will we sell of the business be decided? What happens if one founder isn't living up to expectation under the founder agreement? What is the overall goal and vision for the business? Mistake number two, not starting the business as a corporation or LLC. One of the very first decision founder must make is in what legal form to operate the business, because founder often start businesses without consulting lawyers. They incur higher taxes if become subject to significant liabilities that could have been avoided if they had structured the business as a corporation or limited liability company. Business or company type of business form that are generally available to start a business. Some categories define sole proprietorship, general partnership, C corporation, S corporation, LLC, and limited partnerships. Sole proprietorship and partnership can be converted to C or S corporation or LLC or another legal entity. But keep in mind that the cost of conversion can be significant and depending on the manner of initial formation can result in the lengthy process. Next mistake, choosing a company name that has trademark issue, domain name, problem or other issue, but be help of the lawyers. When picking a company name, it is important to do research to help you avoid trademarks or domain name problem and to ensure that the name you choose is actually is available to use. Here are some steps to be taken in order to avoid naming issue. Do a Google search on the name to see what other companies may already by using the same or similar name. Do a search of Secretary of State or corporate or LLC records in the status where the company will be business to see if anyone is using a sum of similar nature. Not next mistake, man, not adequately taking into account importance tax consideration. The startup need to pay attention to a variety of key tax issue germane to their business. Without proper planning, founders can find themselves or their startup liable for untamed and taxes, fines, and penalties. Here are a number of the key tax issue to consider. Obtain a tax ID. In most instances, you will need to get a tax ID from the IRS for your company. This is also known as Employer Identification Number, in short EIN. Business banks will ask for your EIN when you open a company bank account. You can get EIN online. Choice of legal entity. Next, Section 83B. Founder and employee need to consider whether they can mitigate potential tax issue by an IRC Section 83B. Election is Section 83B. Election relates to when someone receives stock of options, option subjects to vesting and can minimize the amount of income deemed taxable or ordinary income tax rate of the receipt. Next, qualified small business stock. Holder or stock in qualified small business corporation may be entitled to a reduced rate of tax or gain from the sale of qualified small business stocks under IRCs. Next, tax incentive. Depending on the nature of the business, various tax incentive may be available, such as renewable energy tax credit and investment tax credit. Stocks option is also available. Sale tax. Next, employee versus independent controller issues. Contractor issue. It is critical for tax and other purpose that the company correctly determine whether individual providing service to the business run the risk of improperly characterizing independent contractors. Many startups prefer to use independent contractor to avoid paying social security, Medicare, tax and unemployment taxes, and to avoid providing health insurance coverage. But the IRS and states are paying more attention to misclassification issue. In fact, companies like the Uber that increased scrutiny. Next, properly documents all income and deductible expenses. Every business needs to employ a record keeping system that accuracy and completely capture all income and detectable expenses. Some business use an ordinary checkbook for this system, but many business choose to use electronic software programs such as QuickBooks. Not having the right legal counsel in misguided effort to save on expenses, a startup businesses often hire inexperienced legal counsel, including lawyers who are friend or relative, or those who offer step free discount, fee discount. In doing so, the founder deny themselves the advice of experienced legal counsel, who can help avoid many legal problems. Founder should consider interviewing several lawyers or law firms and determine if the lawyers or law firm have expertise in some, if not all, of the following legal area: corporation, commercial and security law, contract law, employee law, and benefits law, intellectual property, real estate law, tax law, franchisee law, data security, cyber and privacy law. Although it is not necessary that the lawyer of law firm retained by the founder have experience in all the foregoing area, because it's often best that the founder retain a firm that can handle some, if not many, of the area above, as to provide it continuity between the founders and their lawyers. Next, not maintaining proper corporate and HR documentation. Companies are often sloppy in maintaining proper corporate and employee HR relates documentation. This can become company pursues financing and involved in an M&A activity, or is involved in claim or litigation with the employees or regulatory agency. Here is compendium of the type of documentation of the company should consider maintaining carefully: board and stakeholder resolution and minutes, signed contract including documentation reflecting any loans to a firm, founder or other company employees, the stocks and option record including, among other things, the stock option plan documents, execute stock purchase or option agreement, proof of payment for stock sales and share and option grant, as well as other security sold or signed by the company, election form plus proof of form filing with the IRS, option exercise, paperwork and required state and federal filings. Next, not determining which permits, license or registration you will need for your business. Depending on the nature of the business, you may need the following permit, license or qualification. Industries, specific permits to regulate business: aviation, agriculture, alcohol, etc. State qualification to do business.
Sir, can you elaborate on aviation? Because it's basically, can you elaborate on the rules and regulations and the things needed for aviation specifically?
Rules and aviation.
Yeah, sir.
Industry specific permits to regulation, permits aviation or rules. I will demonstrate in, you may send the email. I will
Yeah, sir. Yeah, sir. Sure.
Home-based business permits, gift and country business permit or license, sailor permits, health departments, etc. If you have developed a unique product, technology, or service, you need to consider the appropriate step to protect the intellectual property you have developed. Both the company's founder and its investors have a stake in ensuring that the company protects its intellectual property and avoiding infringement and intellectual property rights of third party. Here are some of the common protective measures undertaken by startups. Number one, patent. Your business should be patent, or your goods and etc. Your patent are the best production you can get for a new product. A patent gives its owner the right to prevent others from making, using, or selling the patent invention. Next, copyright. Copyright cover original works of authorship, such as art, advertising, copy, books, article, music, movies, software, etc. Next, trademark. A trademark protects the symbolic value of a word's name, symbol, or device that the trademark. Just like a trademark Dalda, Rath, and others product will be symbol. This is symbol. Tata symbol, Maruti symbol. This is trademark. Service mark. Service mark resemble trademark and are used to identify service. Trade secrets. This is important. A trade secret is a form of intellectual property that is not generally known as the public. Confirm an economic benefits on its holder because the information not publicly known and is the subject of effort by the owner to maintain its secrecy. A trade secrecy right allows the owner of the right to take action against anyone who misappropriates the secrets through theft or other improper means. Trade secrets can range from computer program to customer list to formula from Coca-Cola. Confidence agreement. These are also referred for non-disclosure agreement or NDAs. The purpose of a non-disclosure agreement is to allow the holder of confidential information. Confidential invention of assignment agreement for employees. Every employee should be required to sign such an agreement. In encompass several purposes. First, it obligates the employee to keep confidence the proprietary information of the business both during employment and other employments ends. Second, in ensure any invention, idea, product, or service development by the employee during the terms of the employment and relate to the business belong to the company and not the employee. Next, not having a good terms of use agreement or privacy policy for your website. A terms of use agreements sets for the terms and condition for people using your website. Your privacy policy is a legal statement on your website setting forth what you will do with the personal data collect from user and customer of the site and how such data may be used, sold, or released to the third party. Next, not using a good form of employment agreement or office letter when hiring employee. Oral agreement often lead to misunderstanding. If you plan to hire a prospective employee, use a careful drafted offer letter. which the employees should be encouraged to review careful before signing. For senior executive, a more detailed employment agreement often makes sense. A good offer letter or employment agreement will address following key items: the job title, role, and responsibility of the employees, whether the job is full time or part time, when the job will commence, how long the offer of employment is open to the employee, the salary, benefits, including vacation, relocation, etc., and any potential with bonuses. Whether the position as at will, meaning either party is free to terminate the relationship at any time without penalty, although employee may not be terminated. Employee for legal, provided reasons such as for age, discrimination, or relation from sexual harassment, allegation, etc. Confirmation that the at-will agreement may not be changed unless the change is put in writing, signing by an authorized officer of the company. Confirmation that the employee will need to sign a separate, confidentially, and in mention assignment agreement. So next, not taking the proper step to firing an employee. Termination an employee, even an at will employee, essential legal risk if not properly handled and documented. Law prohibited termination based on color, national origin, ancestry, gender, race, age, disability, martial status, religious preference, sexual orientation, absenteeism due to zero duty or military services, relationship for sexual harassment, discrimination, or other allegation by the employee, and many other factors. So, last my conclusion: startups that manage to avoid things legal pitfalls and missteps have a better shot at success. They do those companies that fail to anticipate and plan for them from the beginning, invested in planning and obtaining expert advice now to avoid major problem letters. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I would like to thank Advocate Shishir Kumar Saxena for delivering a wonderful and amazing speech to all the audience. Thank you, Saxena ji. Now, I would like to apologize on behalf of the rest of our two guests, Dr. Advocate Rahul Garche and Advocate Dheeraj Singh. They actually have been facing a critical health issue. Both of them have been tested positive. So, I hope the audience would understand the inconvenience caused. However, both of them have mailed us to share their mail IDs with the audience. Vaishali, if you could just share the mail IDs. Yeah. So I request the audience to, if they have any doubts on the subject, to ask from our rest of the guests. They could mail them up, and then the responses would definitely come. Not today, definitely, they have informed positive, but otherwise, in a week or so, you will have your responses back. Now, I would like to request Ms. Vaishali Shi to put the email IDs in the chat. Yeah, so that's it. Now, coming to the last but not the least, I would like to wrap up the event by thanking all our guests for your presence. And if the students still have any questions, I would like to welcome. Please. Harshla, Ishita Jain, Jayan Patra, Ira Rafik, Gargi Bandari, Chaitali Dilholkar, Bhavika Bajaj? No questions? Okay, that's it. Thank you for honoring us with your presence, guests, as well as our audience. We shall meet again tomorrow at the very same time from 7 to 8:30 p.m. to discuss more on the topic with other guests. Have a nice day.